All right, everybody, welcome back to UltraChenTV. This is FGC Story Time. I'm talking a little bit about the East Coast, West Coast rivalry, going through some key moments of it, starting with the Eddie Lee at B4 situation, then Justin Wong taking over at MVC2 and really creating the Justin Wong era, which bled into Street Fighter 4. However, I just talked about the Sinsation tournament where Gootecks took first place. Justin Wong got third place and lost to Gootecks in that tournament. And the West Coast basically started feeling themselves. West Coast was pretty much like, we are the best, and we will beat everybody, and we East Coast is free, etc., because, you know, that was the Justin Wong era between 2001 and really 2008, because Justin would win everything. He would win Third Strike, he would win Marvel, and no one could beat him. And so when Street Fighter 4 came out and Gootecks was able to beat him in a tournament, all of a sudden West Coast was like, yo, we're the best, we are godlike. And then it was all West Coast, West Coast, West Coast, West Coast, rah, 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 kind of thing like that. And honestly, that was probably the worst thing that could have happened, because West Coast got cocky and they started to rest on their laurels. And they really didn't understand the advantage that they had in terms of having access to the game much more freely than the East Coast. So as the year went along, Justin did end up getting into grand finals. He beat Edma at Devastation. He beat Edma at Evo. And so, but the West Coast was still cocky about it. They still felt like that they could win. Now, very early on in Street Fighter 4's life cycle, one of the things that Gootecks started doing was his bar fights. He had created his first bar fights, which was an amazing event, by the way. That first bar fights I went to was during that hype of Street Fighter 4 where everyone was going crazy. And just all these new faces and people like who had never watched any really competitive Street Fighter before. It was amazing at the time to be there and see this kind of resurgence. It was really encouraging. After the first bar fights, did he try to counter Piki with Zangief at Evo? I thought he did that at Denjin Arcade, Justin. I could have swore he did that there. But anyways, shout outs to you, Valle. Yeah, thanks for chilling out over here. Thanks for all the little corrections and everything on the stream. I was hoping you would show up, to be honest with you. But after the first bar fights that Gootecks ran, it was pretty successful, so he set up a second bar fights. But he was going to up the ante at... Oh, that you weren't at Denjin? I could have swore you were. Okay. But at bar fights, he created bar fights 2. He upped the ante for that tournament, and what he decided to do was fly out 5 of the East Coast best to go up against 5 of the West Coast's best. So the teams that ended up showing up to play, representing the East Coast, were Justin Wong with Rufus, Marn with Sea Viper, Marn who was still in New York at the time, Joe, I Love You Joe Chiramelli with Sagat, Arturo Sabin Sanchez with Dalsum, and Sanford Kelly with Cammy. That was the East Coast team. The West Coast team, and yes, Socrates is correct. The West Coast team, which was largely a SoCal team. So it was basically the SoCal team versus the East Coast team. The West Coast team were composed of Alex Valle with Ryu, Mike Ross with E Honda, Edma with Akuma, Peter Combo Fiend Rosas with Abel, and Ken I with Rufus. Now, if you guys don't know who Ken I is, he was probably the best Makoto in Southern California at Family Fun. If you guys watched Co-op Cup this last week, you know how dangerous Makoto can be. Ken I was like the human random number generator in his head, impossible to read, and he was so scary. And he played a really, really sick Rufus. His Rufus was ridiculous, Mr. Ken I. But that was the West Coast team. Alex Valle, Mike Ross, Edma, Combo Fiend Rosas, and Ken I. A really, really stacked team going up against the East Coast team of Justin Wong, Marn, Joe, L.I. Joe, Arturo Sanchez, and Sanford Kelly. Should be a great match, right? Should be a great match. the way that the tournament was going to be run was Pokemon style, if I'm not mistaken. It was you picked your 5 players, and number 1 played number 1, number 2 played number 2, number 3 played number 3, number 4 played number 4, number 5 played number 5, and if you lost, you would just go, if you won, you would go to the end of the line until everybody was eliminated. And it was going to be 2 sets of this, okay? So we're going to play 1 set of that, and then we're going to play a second set of that. Remember, I said if, players win, they go to the end of the line, and then if this side wins, then those 2 play each other and all that stuff like that. Oh, that's Waseda style. My bad. That's not Pokemon style. That's Waseda style. We didn't even need to do that. We didn't even need to have to worry about going to the back of the line. Let me tell you that right now. Because in the first set, East Coast defeated West Coast 5-0. In fact, Marn beat Mike Ross. Joe beat Kenai. Sanford Kelly then beat Combo Fiend. Arturo then beat Ed Ma, and then Justin Wong beat Alex Valle 5-0. 5-0. But there were 2 sets. There were 2 sets, right? In the second set, Martin beat Mike Ross. Alex beat L.I. Joe. Hey, all right. West Coast win. Sanford beat Combo Fiend. Arturo beat Kenai, Justin beat Edma, and then Marn beat Valle. 5-1. So in 10 matches, in 11 matches, West Coast won 1. They got bodied. And as if it wasn't embarrassing enough, as if it were not embarrassing enough, West Coast tried to save themselves. They tried to build the pride back, and what they decided to do was assemble a second West Coast team, because people were like, no. The true West Coast experts are these guys over here who happen to be here. So we'll play against East Coast. And East Coast is like, what is this BS? This is total bullshit that you're trying to make us play another set. We bodied you guys for free. This is the 13-0 tech. This absolutely is. But then after that, so the East Coast is like, fine. The only way we'll accept this third set, and it's only going to be 1 set, is if the entire East Coast can play their secondary characters. Their secondary characters. And they said, okay, let's do that. So the second team consisted of Gutex with Balrog, Yeb with Gen, who was one of the strongest Gens, Killer Kai, not Killer Kai, that's Eliver. No, this is Happy Tang. This is Happy Tang with El Fuerte, Shady K with Ryu, and Tatsu with Vega. Tatsu, part of the Andy OCR Tatsu Warrock Trinity for the OC Trinity from a long time ago. And that third set came along, so that was them, right? Oh no, they actually played 2 sets. They played 2 whole entire sets. And so the East Coast, Martin went with his secondary of Abel. Sanford Kelly went with his secondary of Dan. 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 This guy, Dan, okay? Justin Wong played Fei Long. Arturo Sanchez played Seth. And, those are all the secondaries that they played. Oh, and Joe played Viper, by the way. Okay? First set, Yeb beats Marn. Sanford Kelly's Dan beats Kai's Fuerte. Justin Feilong beats Tatsu's Vega. Arturo Seth beats Gutex's Balrog. Sanford Kelly's Dan then beats Yeb. And then Justin's Feilong defeats Shady K. So, I'm sorry, I also skipped Shady K beating Joe's Viper. So that set went 5-2. 5-2 against the secondary characters of the East Coast. Then in the second set, Shady K defeated Marn. Kai then defeated Sanford Kelly this time. But then Justin beats Tatsu. Gutex now beats Joe, so they've won 3 now, and East Coast has won only 1. Spoiler alert, that's the last that West Coast is winning, because, Well, actually, no. Let's see here. So Yeb beats Arturo. No, that doesn't make any sense. That's not the right count here. I think Arturo. Yeah, Arturo beats Yeb. Then Fei Long beats Shady K. Then Arturo beats Kai. And then Justin beats Gutex. Done. Done. That's it. That's it. All gone. All gone. So in other words, that second West Coast team using their primary characters still lost to the East Coast team 2 sets, 5-2 and 5-3. And thus the West Coast discovered in truly embarrassing fashion that we were free at Street Fighter 4. That Sinsation was an anomaly, that we got too comfortable, we rested on our laurels, and we basically became very, very weak. Now, before we move on, there's more to this story. But before we do that, this is actually on Gutex's YouTube channel, which he doesn't use anymore. But you can find all this footage over there. So I'm going to play the first set, just the first set, because I don't want to take too much time of this. You can go and watch all these footage on YouTube yourself. But, oops, wrong ones. There we go.
Yeah, let's get this shit started. Let's get this started.
This is Gutex and, bless his soul, Dogface, doing commentary for bar fights here. Look at all this super fancy graphics and everything like that. So this is Bar Fights 2. This is the first set. EMP Justin Wong, yep. Main event, Empire Arcadia versus SoCal.
Hopefully Martin will just taunt somewhere in the match and give it all away.
Martin could easily taunt during the match.
Dude, look at all this stuff.
But Mike Ross recently getting second at the House of Security.
I play winner, baby.
Valley.
Good shit, Mike
I
Ross.
play winner.
And Martin most recently winning West Coast Warzone, defeating none other than Alex Valle, who we have on the SoCal team.
That's right.
I believe in you, Mike Ross.
We're going to start here with Marn.
Mike Ross.
And you can see the kind of technology we had back then. Gutex was really kind of pioneering a lot of this recording tech here. So you can hear that the audio quality of the commentary is not great and all this stuff like that. But, you know, for 2009, this was pretty impressive stuff.
I bet money on Team SoCal. Mike Ross.
RIP IPW. I Play Winner is still around, frankly. And you notice that this is, since it was played on the arcade, no, this was console by this time. Because this was the original console, but we're playing... No, this shouldn't be 4x3. It's just the aspect ratio is wrong. It's just squashed improperly. Yeah, Marn at first was one of the only people who could pull off this Viper stuff. It was Marn and Combo Fiend were some of the only people that had the execution worthy enough to do that.
We got the East Coast, Marn, and on the player 2, of course, Mike Ross.
Oh, it is 4x3. This is official. Okay.
Big headbutt right there. Now looking good for... Yeah! And Mike Ross starts it. Mike Ross! Let's go!
And you can hear the elation from the West Coast commentators here. This is not gonna last long. This is not gonna last long. Oh man.
Wow. Great execution there by Marn. Really tough to play a character like Viper without really great execution. Well, this could be it for Marn.
Wow, he spent the meter? That did no damage. Marn just did that because it looked cool. I can almost guarantee that. Either that or he messed up a Fierce Fate Fierce.
Oh, it's okay, Mike. It's okay.
Marn ties it up. 1-1.
Yeah, I remember Evo using a monitor in 2009.
This is the final round. What a way to start the match. Player 1, left Mark from the East Coast. Player 2, right inside. Oh!
Big damage there.
Mike
That
Ross
neutral
playing
jump
Honda.
takes a ton of damage.
Mike, no! Oh my god, Marn with the fancy
Oh, good
combos.
headbutt there by Mike. Honda still,
Yes.
oh, big damage. Almost tying it up right there. Not looking good.
Oh no!
Oh, baited.
And Martin takes
J1.
Wins.
QQ. QQ.
We got the legend of the orange sweatshirt himself. Can I?
Can I?
Let's go, Ken.
Ryan, my heart can't take more of this.
Yeah, this is Gutex and Dogface.
We got, okay, so Empire Arcadia up 1 game.
Player 1, I Love You, Joe.
Yes.
Featured in the I Got Next documentary.
Yes, featured in the I Got Next documentary by Ian Cofino, which you can check out at IGotNextMovie.com.
All right.
And player 2 is.
You guys want me to skip ahead or just go ahead and let it run through? See, I play winner ads over here.
Dungeon Arcade, which coincidentally is one of our sponsors, so thank you to them.
Thank you,
Thank you to
Dungeon.
Dungeon Arcade, DungeonArcade.com.
Oh, R.I.P.
Being so
Dungeon
generous.
Arcade.
Sponsoring
Man.
Players stretching out their buttons.
All right. Let's get through here, guys. Oh, some people are. Oh, well, you know what? I just let it go. I just let it go. Here we go. Oh my God! Joe just let the level 3 rip.
He's gonna make Can I work hard.
Can I please?
This is the 5-on-5, 2 out of 3. So the teams have to win 2 sets against their opponent. Player 1, I Love You, Joe. Guaranteed to have some Rufus exposure, thanks to his close pal, Justin Wong.
Yes, Joe knows this match very well, but can I know slouch himself? Oh, it's gonna be big damage right here. Jump roundhouse into the Ultra.
Listen to how excited Gutex is.
Wow.
Oh, Joe.
Joe with the defensive jump back fierce.
Wow. I have a heart attack. You got this, Mr. Can I? Still playing smart. You decided to chill out over there.
I love the completely unbiased
The
commentary.
uppercut opportunity right there. Here comes Kanai with the electric sidekick. Joe whips the uppercut.
Can I drop in 1-frame links? I don't know if plinking was used at this time yet or not.
Wow.
Kanai bringing it back. Oh, big damage there by
I don't know if people were using plinking yet.
Is the legend of the orange sweatshirt.
Yeah, Kenai lives in Japan right now. Yes, that is true.
Joe doing a good job taking away all of Kenai's opportunities. Wow. Team SoCal
Joe.
to a rocky start. This is the moment dreams are made of.
Yes, but this is
Or nightmares.
Combo Fiend is given the opportunity to shine. Player 1, we have Sanford Kelly, and on the right,
So one little story about Sanford Kelly here is that when Cammy first came out on the console version, everyone thought she sucked. Sanford Kelly was like, "You guys are insane. She's amazing. I will show you why she is amazing." And then he made top 8 at Evo, and everyone. I remember the Cammy forums at the time on Shoryuken.com. We were like, "Holy crap, Cammy is real! Oh my God, Sanford is ridiculous." So there you go.
Combo Fiend decided to go with Abel.
He climbed Mount Fuji.
Interesting choice there.
And the battle begins.
In the spandex
I miss
unitard
Tiger Knee
play.
Cannon Strike so much. You don't even know. You don't even know.
With Viper.
Oh, the old school
It's a
shenanigans!
strong, aggressive start.
Oh my God.
Coming
Oh,
from
I
the
miss
upper
this
the first
Cammy
down,
so much.
does Sanford. Wow. Wow.
I'm getting like happy feelings in yeah, never mind. I'm just feeling happy right now watching this.
I'm sorry, at SBO quals, and now hits his chance to be on the winning side.
Combo Fiend just scoffing at that round 1 win.
Wow. Come on, Combo, get it started. Combo feeling it out, just taking some time to breathe. Combo likes this moment.
Oh my God.
Back against the wall, low on life. This is where we're really going to see what goes on in his head.
being known for huge comebacks, as he did against his teammate Ken I as the Oakwall.
Oh, we've punished.
Oh,
This
good
could be
thinking
combo's
about
chance.
combo.
Wow,
Nice
combo.
throw right there.
Okay, hang on a second, guys. Okay. That unfortunately is the state of the video that video is. So everyone's like, what happened at the end? What happened at the end? I'll show you what happened at the end here. So here we go. He finally gets him over here. He hits him with this, drops his combo, goes for the change of direction, hits him, then goes for the kick follow-up. And you can see right there, Sanford uppercuts. Now look how much life Combo Fiend has. Doesn't have that much life. You see how much meter that Sanford has. You know that was going to be an uppercut FADC. And that was the end of Combo Fiend. So it is currently 3-0 in favor of 3-0 in favor of East Coast right now.
Are you ready? Fight!
Wow.
So now we're at Arturo Sanchez versus Edma.
Arturo's been waiting for this match all day long. Hungry. Here goes Ed. Going in there. Going to work. Cutting him open with his scalpel.
Like I said, Edma was considered largely one of the best, if not the best in the West Coast at this time.
Very tough match for Dalsum. I tried to play Dalsum for a couple of weeks, and it was this match specifically that made me change my mind about it.
Fuck this.
Fuck this match.
I like how the NSFW factor has gone away as the West Coast has lost more and more.
You know
Oh,
what's
Arturo missed a big opportunity to punish.
Arturo, could he be building suspense in the crowd?
Yep, maybe.
God, that jump fierce was so good.
Giving him those fists.
Dawson was actually good in this one, but he just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Poor Dawson.
Insogal plays Dawson that would give Ed the kind of exposure he needs to
Well,
know
of
this
course,
match.
we have UTJ.
Filipino champ.
Y2J.
On the West Coast.
Yes, on the West Coast.
Y2J was the best SoCal Dawson.
We squared off the West Coast War Zone. And of course, keeping him out.
Okay, that was sick.
8 seconds! 8 seconds! 6 seconds! 4 seconds! 2 seconds! Yeah! Let's go!
And Boss says go, you cannot!
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
And says no, you cannot.
Mention incident in Japan. Holy shit! That will use in every promotional video for Bar Fights 2. That 5 seconds. Fucking amazing.
As I mentioned, Edma considered one of the strongest in West
Salty,
Coast.
though. Said, yo, like, no one does that to me.
AL. No, real talk. Real talk. East Coast godlike.
Was that Gutex trying to do a, he was trying to do an Arturo imitation.
Wow.
Arturo ties it up.
Oh my god.
Both players working on a full super meter.
This round, essential for the life of Team SoCal. Nice. Get him, Ed.
Ed sets him up for the vortex.
Do it, Ed Mazel.
Man, they were even calling it the vortex. Oh!
Arturo says, I got tricks too. Just chill over there for a while.
Mod takes a little breather, teleports back. Wow.
Arturo already downloaded that shit. New app. Edma's Akuma.
Oh, beautiful trade.
Wow, and
Oh boy.
wow. Wow, Edma fucking getting in there. One little poke. One spitball from Dalton. Wow. Coming up, Ryan, I think the match, the dream match right
Coming
now,
up.
that we've all
That's
waited
it.
for.
That's right.
That's
You didn't
it.
see
Just
this
coming
at
up.
Evo, You didn't see this at Warzone.
You didn't see this devastation.
Sure. Yeah, you didn't see the devastation. You only see it at Bar Fights 2. Justin Wong versus Alex Valle.
Since B4 through the Evo 2K9 series, Alex Valle has appeared in top 8 17 times in different games.
Now with Fei Long here.
In the forums, Valle has said,
All right, here we go.
but as
Last
Justin
match.
Wong
This is
to
the
point,
first
we know
set.
this
Remember,
match
there
so
was
well.
2 sets of
We don't have
this.
to worry about it.
So you can imagine how the room was feeling at the time. The heavily West Coast biased room was feeling at the time of this.
Tied it up. Watch out for those uppercuts. Just really controlling that space. And Valle's dizzy.
Man, Dogface sounds so deflated right now.
A million times. Alex back against the wall when Alex, like Combo Fiend, produces his best Street Fighter right now.
By no stranger to clutch situation. Tough match for Rufus. Because Ryu has all the tools to keep the fat man.
The resets.
Justin demonstrating exceptional control over Rufus.
Oh boy. Oh, the resets again.
Oh.
Why? Choosing not to
Alex
spend the
mind
meter.
fucked. Alex, less life than what Justin's missing. But Benny can clutch it out. Oh! Wow.
All
Team East
right.
Coast going undefeated.
Empire Arcadia takes set 1.
Yeah. That was the first set. So that basically was what happened there. Oh, shout outs. Thank you to whoever just subscribed. Thank you. Oh, is it FM Jaguar potentially? Okay, thank you. But yeah, that was a crucial moment there in East Coast West Coast rival history, because that was an ass whooping. Okay, that was just like that was embarrassing. And then, like I said, we lose the next set 5-1. And then West Coast 13-0. We're the originators of the 13-0. Tried to pull up the second team. And then we got bodied 5-2 and then 5-3. And that was pretty much it at that point in time. But it was a crucial thing that happened there, because when that happened, Alex Valle kind of realized how weak the West Coast was. He realized that we didn't practice, that we were too cocky, that we thought we were too good. And then what happened was that Valle, there was a player by the name of Shiggle BMX, aka Daniel Tam, bless his soul, one of the crucial members of the FGC for this alone. He would run gatherings for Street Fighter 4 in his garage every Wednesday night. And they had this event called Shiggle BMX had this event basically that called, I don't remember what it was called, but it was just everyone got to Shiggle BMX's house on Wednesday night and played. And so Valle basically went there one week and was like, all right, no, we're fixing this. So when Alex Valle announced he was going there, a whole bunch of players showed up. Like everyone showed up to this Wednesday night fights. And then he started trying to teach people, show people why they were bad, pointing out their flaws. He set up multiple stations so that only the best players played on one station and everybody had to try to get good at the other stations to qualify for that station. He started setting that up. He invited Ed Ma to go out there one week, and Ed Ma basically sat down and said, you guys all suck. Here's why. You guys are terrible. You guys don't play good at all. Basically, he hired Ed Ma to be bad cop. And it wasn't quite Inland Empire, but it was close enough, I guess. But what ended up happening was that Valle determined that he wanted to kick SoCal into shape. Because the thing about it is, Valle, I already just talked about all this history, and I started towards the end of it too, because Valle was such a strong player for the longest of time, the best at Tekken, the best at MVC2, the best at every Street Fighter. And what he was starting to see was the legacy of SoCal was crumbling right before his eyes. And so he started going to Shigo BMX's garage. It became a bigger thing. I started going there because I just really wanted to check it out, because I also wanted to get good too. And sure enough, these Wednesday night sessions made me really strong in Street Fighter 4. I was actually a really strong player in Street Fighter 4 at the time. And eventually, AJ Papa, aka Potato Head, decided to start streaming from there. So they started streaming, and that's how Wednesday Night Fights really got started. Eventually, it moved away from Shigo BMX's garage because it was too big. There's too many people. The electricity bill was too much, and just all sorts of little problems like that. It eventually moved away, but it continued growing, became Wednesday Night Fights, and now it is what you know at the esports arena. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, they started going with NLBC. Henry Sen started doing a lot of work over there and doing a lot of stuff for them. And yeah, the majors were not very much at all, to be honest with you. They basically, it's interesting because without that bar fights push, without that beating that we got, it's interesting to think that maybe SoCal might not even be as good as we are now. Not only did that get Valle to start pushing Wednesday Night Fights, but that's also what got him to create Level Up, and now all this, everything came from that event, that one Bar Fights 2 event. So you can see how important that rivalry between East Coast, West Coast is. Like, without that rivalry, like, I feel like SoCal would not even be as strong as we are. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show here today is because I really wanted to emphasize the rivalry. I really wanted to talk about this because rivalries are so important to cultures, to these fighting games, because what happens is it turns all your enemies into your friends. Everyone that you played against in SoCal becomes your friends. And because of that, you start telling each other your mistakes, and everyone jokes about Wednesday night hugs. But that's the environment that we created. We created an environment where we would help each other and we got better. Epilogue to the story, which is kind of a weird epilogue, but Evo did run that Wednesday Night Fights versus NLBC 5v5 that one time, also run Waseda style. And if you remember, Wednesday Night Fights bodied NLBC at the time. Yeah, there was definitely some unfortunate matchup pairings. Like, it just happened that, like, West Coast had counter picks in a lot of those situations. But it was kind of a reversal at that point in time, because what happened was that I felt like after that, East Coast felt like they were the best, and I don't think that they tried just as hard. Wednesday Night Fights kind of got a little bit stronger at that point in time, and then they were able to win that matchup. And then since then, I know East Coast has definitely started doing a lot more like inward looking and being like, how do we change our culture so that we help each other more? Again, same kind of thing. Yeah, this is way later. This is like 2012 now, probably 2013, I think it is. So this is Justin's already in the West Coast now. He's already moved into the West Coast. This is years and years later. But the key factor is that it's the same thing kind of again. When Wednesday Night Fights beat NLBC, it kind of lit a fire under the East Coast as well. And now we have this really, really good rivalry between East Coast and West Coast. And honestly, if you ask me which one's better, it's really hard for me to say, because there are so many great players on both sides. And there are some players like Chris G, who still largely considers himself East Coast, even though he's in the West Coast now. But that's kind of where we're at this point in time, between this rivalry between East Coast and West Coast. Now it's a little more of a cordial rivalry. It's because again, the focus is kind of shifted to the world stage now. So it's less about East Coast, West Coast. It's more about U.S. versus other places. But the East Coast, West Coast rivalry will always exist. It'll always be there. There'll always be that sense of pride to be able to win that. And, you know, and again, I'm doing this myself. I'm not doing this as a, no one's paying me to do this kind of a promotion or thing. But I think that's why I'm so happy that the King of the Hill that ESL is doing is starting with East Coast versus West Coast again. They're actually bringing the East Coast versus West Coast concept back. And starting tomorrow, the King of the Hill is all going to be East Coast, West Coast for 4 weeks. They're flying East Coast players out to compete. And I think that's really sick. I like continuing that rivalry. I think the rivalry is so important for the fighting game community. It's basically what's pushed a lot of the scenes. A lot of scenes have asked me before, how do we make ourselves better? And I've always responded, find a rival. Like I've always said to the Texas team, the Texas area, like the 4 major cities of Texas should create like a league that like maybe once a month, like a team travels to one of the other cities and they play against each other and they do like a year-long league, and you know they collect entry fees and do a prize money thing between like Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin. They could do something like that. Either that, or I even told the entire Texas team, just start picking a fight with the Midwest scene, you know, and just become rivals with them, like kind of like NorCal, SoCal kind of thing. You know, rivalries are very, very important in my opinion. And as long as it's friendly, I'm not promoting thuggery and gangs, okay? I'm just saying as long as it's a friendly rivalry, I think it's really important. And I really do like what the ideas that King of the Hill, that ESL is doing for this. So when I found out they were doing this East Coast, West Coast thing, I thought it would be really cool to talk about this history, to go over this history of how West Coast and East Coast have driven each other in fighting games for so many years, why it's so important to the scene, and why the history of it is so crucial, and why it's something that we should know about, learn, and respect. About all this history. And then it's cool too because like a lot of people don't know Combo Fiend used to be one of the best players, right? They just think he's that guy who works at Capcom. There's people who just don't remember that he used to play, you know, and so to find out that Combo Fiend was such a key figure in a lot of these situations, you know, and to see, you know, where Gutex did have his history before when he was winning Street Fighter 4 tournaments and such like that, you know, and then Justin Wong, Arturo Sanchez, Sanford Kelly, where he fits in with this whole thing. A lot of people like to tease Sanford Kelly right now, but people don't understand. Like, he was the Kami pioneer in Street Fighter 4, and he was one of the gods of MVC2. You know, all these people, all these names, the reason why people talk about these guys and respect them so much is because they do have such important roles in the history of the fighting game community. And to me, that's really important. Again, my view is very biased and it's very limited because I only know what I know, and I only know West Coast. I definitely know that there's a lot of people here from the Midwest. They get overlooked so much, and it's such a shame. And I would love to bring somebody on here like SuperFX, you know, if he ever decides to come and visit LA again. I would love to have him on and we can do a whole Midwest history. I would love to have someone come and talk, like Arturo come on and maybe talk about like the Eddie Lee days and stuff like that. I really would like to talk a lot more about that. And yeah, EC, oh man, Justin says EC has the best drama. Drama all day. Drama. Oh, Flo. Okay, Flo, when you move back to SoCal, okay, when you move back to Best Cal, I'll have you on the show and we can talk about that, okay? So, but yeah, I hope people enjoyed this. I hope people had fun. Thank God for the internet, because without the internet, I wouldn't have had this footage to see. I wouldn't have had all those records, even though some of it was wrong, apparently, because the Justin Wong Combo Fiend score was incorrect. So apologies about that. So, but yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this. I hope everyone had a good time listening to this and talking about stories. I would love to do more FGC Story Time if I can find good topics to talk about and such, if other people have questions and stuff like that. But hopefully everybody did enjoy this. Hopefully everyone had a good time reliving some of the past, learning about stuff. I mean, it's crazy to me that when I talk about the B4, B5 era, that some people in the chat are like, I wasn't even born yet, or like I was 9 years old. Like that blows my mind. But it's great stuff. It's great history. I love fighting games, and you know, I really wish that at some point in time, like all this could be written down at some point. Maybe one day I'll sit down and try to write a book. But again, I would have to do a lot of research. I would have to talk to all the different crews, because if I wrote a book, it would be very, very SoCal biased. It wouldn't even be West Coast biased, because I wouldn't even have all the information for Northern California. But again, everybody, hope you guys had fun. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, because I know like I almost had like 1,000 people in here at one point in time. So that's crazy. I think that's wonderful. I'll try to get this up on YouTube as soon as possible, so in case you didn't get a chance to watch this live, you guys can watch it there. But hope everybody had a great time. Hope everyone had fun here, reliving some of the past. Shout outs to Justin Wong and to Alex Valle for being in the chat and giving me all this information. Thanks, Muffin. This is the Ryu jacket, by the way. I see a lot of people talking about the jacket and everything like that. This is the Musta brand jacket, right? The Ryu jacket with the Funin Kazan logo on the back of it. So you can't really see it there. Yeah, you can see it right there. It's the Ryu jacket. It's the Musta brand jacket from a long time ago. So, but I hope you guys had fun. Honestly, shout outs to Justin Wong, because if Justin Wong wasn't in the chat, I would have had that misinformation that Combo Fiend beat him and such like that. So. I really appreciate Justin Wong and Alex Valle for being here, correcting a lot of the stuff that I was saying, adding to the stories and stuff like that. So shout outs to you guys. I was really hoping, because I mean, I know this was last second, so I'm glad that they took their time out of their day to come and hang out with me like this. So all right, thank you guys, and tune in tomorrow. King of the Hill will be starting at around 3 p.m. Pacific time. Same time this stream started. That will be on twitch.tv/ESL. But then don't forget, tomorrow at night will also be the Tuesday show. Me, David, Sajam, Tasty Steve will all be talking about all the crazy things that happened this weekend, like KIT, like Co-op Cup, which was amazing. Even for a person who doesn't really like Third Strike, it was amazing. But, so tune in tomorrow. If you guys enjoyed this content, please give me a follow. Please subscribe. Feel free to donate as well. This is now currently my only job. So, any donations, any subscriptions helps. Keep me creating more content for you guys. I can keep doing this. So any help would be appreciated. So. And I will be streaming a lot, so definitely follow me on Twitter at jchensor. Follow UltraChenTV on Twitter. Follow UltraDavid, Tasty_Steve, and Sajam on Twitter as well for all sorts of UltraChenTV content. Thank you guys, and peace out. Oops, hang on a second.